I just saw the podcast with Sam Altman basically saying that AI is better than our PhDs now. And I keep seeing these different AI billionaires and entrepreneurs that are claiming that AI is going to be better than humans and take us over and all that. So let's talk about that. First, I've run a data analytics company for 25 years. We've been using AI or versions of it for 20 years, over 20 years. You've got the newer, I guess, it's been around for years, but the large language models that everybody's seeing now making all these changes. And then you're seeing the hype that goes along with that. There's an old tractor, I think it's from the 50s, they said. And of course, we also had horse-powered farming back in the day. And now AI is going to replace all this, apparently. Or at least that's what the investors want to tell us. Now, I'm not a AI denier. I think we're already seeing it, and it's going to change our lives dramatically. It's already changing mine a ton. Doing a lot of marketing brochures, presentations. It's doing workflow automations. A lot of things in the IT space. So there's no question that it's really modifying and streamlining our workload and replacing tasks that humans can do. I'm not denying that at all. I also think it's dangerous. You know, it's going to cause us more mental health crisis than we have now if we keep having these people that I think they know well. You know, I'm talking about Elon Musk, Sam Altman, all these different guys that are saying that AI is going to replace humans. And they know that it's so far away if it ever can even be done. Both the logical thinking, parallel processing, our problem solving abilities. And even if you want to say that, okay, I'll give you that the computers can do all that, the AI can replace all that. We burn 20 watts of energy, 20 watts. The computers now are burning, they take 30 megawatts. I mean, it's millions of times more energy. So to try to put all of our processing power, you know, humans are processing 10 quintillion processes a second. 10 quintillion, 10 to the 18th power. They barely have found computers that'll do that. There's a couple of computers now that'll do that, and maybe it'll go more than that, but those computers take millions of watts of energy. They can't put all that into a package like this. Here's a farmhouse from the 1500s. No electricity, no running water. So I can't imagine now trying to be a high school or college, trying to decide if you're in college, trying to decide what your career is going to be. Well, you got people out there saying that all pilots are going to go away, all lawyers are going to go away, all realtors are going to go away, you know, all ditch diggers are going to go away. And they know good and well that is not, we're so far away from that, it's not even funny. You know, with the Tom Cruise movie recently, you know, where the movie was basically based on pilots being replaced by drones, which that's already happening to a certain extent. But these are war machines that are carrying, you know, deadly weapons. You know, will commercial airliners ever fly pilotless? I don't think so. I don't think you'll ever see that. Not in my lifetime, certainly. And I probably have 30 more years to go or so, but hopefully. But you know, one of my first jobs, we had little company airplanes, and you know, when I was learning, you know, the pilot was showing me, you know, the different things to make sure of, and you know, when you're landing, make sure these 3 green lights are on, and so forth. So we landed in Greer, South Carolina, and messed around a little bit. Then we went to take off, and on takeoff, all our power went out. Everything's gone down. So right as the gear had come up, so we circled around. He had to, you know, wave at the tower to make sure that we didn't have any radio communication. He asked me to crank the landing gear down. I crank it down. I'm like, I don't see any green lights. He goes, yeah, we don't have any power, so no green lights. Anyway, so then he's able to land the plane. Well, what kind of AI computer is going to land a plane with no power? what kind of AI robot is going to lose power and land a plane? Yeah, I don't think any of them. And I'm saying all this as I walk through a replica 1500s German village in the Black Forest, you know, where they had no power. We're watching them churn butter by hand.
And in reality, this was exactly what they would have done.
There is that. There's still people that are living back in the 1500s. Not many, but a few. I was at a conference a few weeks ago, and they were showing the skills and saying that, you know, their AI was taking over a lot of the call center aspects, and it had some demos, and you know, it was pretty good, I would say. Again, it was a real specific scenario in like the loan space where they had them answering phone calls or making outbound calls, knowing kind of what somebody's credit is, credit scores, and if they had equity in their homes, and offering them to refinance. But even when somebody would ask a question back to the AI, it would take them, you know, 3 or 4 seconds. No, I say 2 to 4 seconds. It was almost an uncomfortable silence before it would respond back, trying to compute. And these were all, you know, pretty vanilla answers. In fact, I saw an article just yesterday where Claude AI, they set up an agent so that it could replace just a basic small business. You know, the ability to talk to vendors and work with purchasing agents and employees and that sort of thing. And I'll post a little bit about that, but it was a disaster basically. Now again, I think they would, you know, the argument now would be, well, it's going to get better. It's we're improving at an astronomical rate. We're seeing changes on a daily basis. We're seeing changes that are all on really sorting through, just being a really good search engine and being able to sort through information very quickly, and things that can be memorized, and those are things you're seeing, you know, happen really quickly. Workflow automations, like I said, it can look at tasks and learn those tasks. It can even improve on those tasks, no doubt about that. I agree with all that, and I think that's going to be, you know, something we're going to see a lot of. And you're definitely going to see jobs going away, but like, you know, Amazon, they're touting that they're replacing all these jobs. You know, 1.5 million workers, they're going to replace all these jobs. They're trying to make it seem like they're going to be all automated factories. Well, they had a test factory, I think it was in Kentucky, a year or so ago. And again, it was a disaster. Labels were going backwards, and they couldn't see the labels. And I mean, I just want to make sure we're not getting caught up in the hype by these billionaires who are trying to make AI be more than it is. And it makes us make decisions on our career or what we're going to do, you know, based on this bad information when they're trying to raise money and trying to become, you know, the next greatest AI company. So, number one, I think whatever field you go into, if you build a skill set in that field that is, you know, top notch, then you're going to have a good job. You'll be able to find a good job and make good money. You know, secondly, probably the no-brainer here is go into the AI field, AI automation. Learn about AI and learn how to help companies replace certain tasks with AI and improve certain processes with AI. So that'd be a second area. And then the third area, you know, this is the one I guess is controversial. I don't know. You know, these guys are saying it's going to replace everything. There are certain jobs I hope we could all agree that it's a long, long way off. And those are the manual jobs. You know, maybe the jobs people think they don't want to do, but, you know, car detailing, digging ditches, plumbers, electricians. You know, these are, I was joking about the digging ditches one, but, you know, plumbers, electricians. I'm doing remodeling a garage right now, and I got a bill from the plumber, $14,000. That's for one. He said I'm going to finish in one day. $14,000. I have no idea how many people he had. I think he had 2 people with him. And then I had an electrician. They're going to rewire the thing. It's just a small 800 square foot garage that I'm remodeling, and the electrician bill was $13,000 for 2 days. So that's good money in electricians and plumbers, and there's a shortage. I looked everywhere trying to find these guys. It took forever. And so, you I think those trades tasks, I'm actually here in Germany right now, and one of the guys in our group, he's retired. He went to trade school for some kind of electrical engineering type of deal, and did a 2-year school, and then got a job configuring conveyor belts for Amazon and UPS and those, and made a big career out of it. I mean, he's retired at like 55 years old. So those are the 3 things that I would focus on. I wouldn't listen to Sam Altman and how he says that AI is better than our PhDs right now. They're taking one little aspect of it. How can it compute mathematical problems or whatever, and saying that, oh, it's going to be better than humans. And they're so far from, and he knows they're so far from that, and they don't have the power to do that. If they could actually have the computational skill sets to do it, it's just not going to happen anytime soon. But if you want to add any kind of logic to it, add any kind of complexity at all, any kind of problem solving, you're going to need a programmer. I've got a team of programmers that build products for me, and we're using AI for some of the basic things. And will it get better? Yes, it's going to get more and more complex. But is it going to equal the humans? I personally don't think ever is it going to be able to equal a human, especially in the with the amount of power that we need. I mean, how many programmers can you replace in the amount of power, and what's the cost of that going to be is the key thing. Can they do it with a whole building full of computers? And yeah, maybe, but what's the cost of the power going to be for that? And is it going to be able to do any kind of the quantum computing they're going to do? I personally don't think so. So to me, whether you're going to be a graphics designer, a programmer, you name it, whatever occupation you're wanting to go into, if you have a problem-solving ability, if you have stellar skills, whether it's relationship skills, sales skills, you're going to be able to be successful and outperform what AI can present. If you're trying to make a decision on what you're going to do in the next 5 or 10 years, and you're here, like I heard the godfather of AI talking on a podcast the other day, that the next 15 to 20 years, all human actions will be replaced by robots, then you're going to be kind of frustrated and decide just to maybe not do anything at all. And I kind of think I would look at it totally differently to me. Now, I would agree, number one, there are going to be things that are going to be replaced by AI. There already are. If you're doing basic programming, you can go on to ChatGPT right now and ask it to build an app, productivity app with a diary and a calendar and whatever else, and boom, it'll spit that out in a few seconds. Here's an old sawmill from way back. So I think we will see a lot more manufacturing come back to the U.S. A lot of that's gone overseas because of the labor costs for, again, kind of menial labor tasks or repetitive labor tasks. Those can definitely be replaced by robotics. They already are. Go to a Tesla factory and you'll see that. So in summary, what am I saying? We're going to see major changes with AI. I think if you're looking for what's my next 5 or 10 years look like, what I want to do, or maybe my career, you want to get into AI, number one, if you can. I mean, that's a great field to get into, and AI automation and how can it be used. Number two, be really, really good in whatever you're doing. If you're going to be a programmer, be the very best programmer. And we're a long, long, long way out from AI replacing high-level senior programmers. And then three, get into fields that are a long, long way, if ever, going to be replaced by AI. So again, I think plumbing fields, electricians, those kind of fields, even attorneys, pilots, it's a long, long way from those being, if ever, replaced by AI. I would say never. So I would encourage you to use some of the AI tools. Pull down Google AI. It's also called Gemini. Claude is actually the correct term. It's a French, but I say Claude AI. And there's also ChatGPT. Those are the main 3 right now, and you can use free versions of those. Use those in your everyday searches and tasks you want done. And I think the more we become familiar with it, you become more productive. One example I heard the other day, which was pretty exciting, was It was a mortgage company, or I think it was a real estate company. He was a realtor actually in Houston, and somebody put into ChatGPT, you know, give me a great realtor or best realtor in Houston, and his information popped up. And when they emailed him, he has an app called Fixer, Fyxer, and so Fixer reads that email, responds to the email, and sends that back to the prospect and the prospective homeowner, based on this email, thinking it's him, that it went out in minutes, gave his calendar and set up a meeting for him to meet with them, like Monday or Tuesday. So it's like a Saturday. This was all happening. He's at the lake, he said, and all this happened while he's at the lake. So he's in Monday, and he's got a meeting set up with a new prospect. And from the prospect's perspective, they got an instant response, got a meeting set up, and so it just streamlined all that, workflow, and it's better for everybody. So again, check out some of those tools, get familiar with them. If you're starting a career, starting in some sort of a business or entrepreneurship, don't think too far ahead of what the Sam Altmans of the world are saying that, hey, in 20 years we're all going to be terminated. But I think we should be realistic, take a deep breath, be good at what you do, find something that you love and or really like doing, or that you're good at, and that's what your focus should be. And use AI where it's appropriate and use it to your advantage, but don't worry about it replacing our attorneys anytime soon. So, and the final thing I will say, I'm hearing, the dangers of AI, and I do think there is, potentially some danger down the road, way down the road. It seems as easy as we can just pull the plug on it. But also, just keep in mind, our politicians are power-hungry individuals. They are power-hungry. I think we can all agree to that, and money-hungry, and they are not going to let AI take power away from them. So they will put legislation in place that will curtail, because right now none of the AI companies want any kind of restrictions, because they say, oh, we'll lose to China or whatever. But once it becomes apparent that AI is going to be more powerful, if that ever happens, which I still am skeptical, but that it's going to actually become a danger to us, then they'll curtail it, and if not, we'll pull the plug. So anyway, do all these things, keep AI in a proper perspective, use it to your advantage, use it to be more productive. If you do all these things, you will finish well. Now I'm going to go watch them churn some butter. By the way, if you want to come to the Black Forest, I just left Switzerland yesterday. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, Lucerne, Switzerland. And the Black Forest is not too bad either, so come on over.